Scorpio Collective, hello. So I did a reading for you guys and thought I uploaded it. And then it's been probably over a week since I did it. And so I figured I would do a fresh reading and see where you guys are at with your divine union connection and how your energy is doing currently. We have the Tower and the Pentacles, so the end and the coming together of connections, maybe leading a job, maybe starting something where you're going to be coming into a business partnership or starting a business or like a side hustle with a friend. This could be platonic or romantic. We have the Death card. Ooh, the Devil and the Hierophant. Could be dealing with a Capricorn. Their reading was crazy. Same thing. I forgot to close my window during the Capricorn reading, and then when about halfway through I realized it, and I got very bashful and like, ooh, what if my neighbors could hear me or something? And I have this mosquito that I'm watching. So you could have somebody that's in a Page of Swords energy, somebody that's watching you, someone who's listening, eavesdropping. Yeah, you could be dealing with a Capricorn or a Taurus. We have the Hierophant popping out again. Let's see what's in the moon energy here first. This is the feminine energy, so whichever you relate to. We have the Ten of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. Now this feels like sleepless nights. You could be dreaming about this person. This person could be trying to do, and with the devil doesn't always mean it's like overtly manipulative or whatever. It can just mean a Capricorn, but it could also be just somebody in their shadow or lower vibrational aspect, which means that they could be trying to lure you in, which I did get that with the Capricorn reading, that somebody was rushing somebody energetically. So could be the feminine is trying to attract the masculine, and that trying to rush them along, getting impatient, right? Which we've had that for a while, the feminine getting impatient with the masculines. But I think that that's just a collective societal kind of world that we're in right now, where the masculine leadership, right? Leaders, especially when you're talking about divine leaders, they are individuals. They're lone wolves. They are solitary. The divine path is very solitary, and so we're in a world that's full of sheeple, right? They're like wolves in sheeple clothing. And so it's like everybody's, it's competitive. It's the low devil frequency of the masculine. It's not leadership. It's self-serving. It's competitive. It's destructive. And so, which in that energy, a divine masculine could have been raised in an environment that put them into their feminine energy, but because they weren't led by a strong feminine or a balanced feminine parent or guardian, or they had an absent father, so they didn't know how to be a strong masculine. They tend to be in a lower vibration of that. So it's like a toxic masculinity. And that means that the masculine energies are waiting, right? They're waiting to receive, but masculine energy pursues. And so it's kind of flipped the script. Also with the feminist movement, you could be into politics. I am not, but the fact that, we're talking about gender politics or whatever, maybe you've struggled with your sexual identity, maybe your person has struggled with that, maybe you're in the political sphere somehow, whether as a watcher or, you know, supporter, or, you know, if you are maybe employed through that. Maybe you're coming out of that and you're going into something that's more divinely aligned with your heart and not so woven into, and I don't even want to say woven, because weaving feels more tantric and divine. It's like a mutual connection. This feels more like the devil, the attachment, the conditional attachment to the news, media, what society says, like listening to the opinions and the views of others. And so somebody could have felt very negated. Their own opinions, their own belief systems could have been very well negated. They could have been raised in a hyper-religious or conditional political, military way of life, to where their feminine energy wasn't able to come up. Their spiritual connection, their divine connection to the 5D wasn't able to come up. So they maybe became very fixated on the 3D. And the masculine is 3D. The 3D is the masculine, 5D is the feminine. But they are, again, woven into each other. When they are divine, there's a duality and a polarity there. Also with the Hierophant, your polar sign is Taurus, and Taurus is the weaver. They are the teacher. They are the spiritual leader of bringing the 5D, the mediator, the translator of the 5D and the 3D. They bring those two together. So, whoa, dream weaver. Yeah, so I feel like there's some dream work going on here. If you are the masculine, you could be relating to that. As a fixed water sign, that's fixed earth, right? That's fixed as earth, and then water. Both of those are feminine. Earth and water are feminine. Swords and fire are masculine. You could have had a air and or fire sign parent. And so even if it was you're raised by a single mother, they could have been very much in their masculine energy, that very hyper masculine fire cardinal energy of go, go, go. And you were never, your fixed water energy was never balanced or nurtured in a way. So the masculine could just be struggling, whether that's you or your person, could just be struggling with listening to their dreams, because that's how the Queen of Swords in reverse. Yeah, that could, again, that could be an air sign parent. The mother could be an air sign, and see how she's not in her feminine energy. She's not in her strength of her feminine energy, right? Because there's strength and masculine and feminine in all things. So it's like this is an imbalanced feminine person. This could also be an ex, right? That you were attracted to, dealing with. Oh, that's too many. Yeah, a lot of swords, a lot of information, a lot of words, a lot of interrupting thoughts. I had okay, I'm going to come back to that. The way that a twin flame connection works, right? A divine union is when a twin flame connection comes together in the 3D. The twin flame connection starts in the 5D. The feminine, who is connected more with the 5D, right? Because we all have the same ingredients, different recipes. We all have masculine and feminine within us, right? So this isn't a gender specific connotation, but energy, the way energy works is that the feminine recognizes their counterpart in the 5D through the dream world, right? You could be dealing with an air sign, right? And maybe they are struggling, maybe the feminine is struggling to stay in their feminine energy and listen to the moon. And so this is kind of like allowing the moon to guide you versus being surrounded by all these swords, being surrounded by all these thoughts and trying to rush something and try and control something. But the feminine recognizes the masculine and the 5D, and then because the feminine gets on that frequency of, okay, I'm in a twin flame connection this life cycle, and now I'm going to get on that vibrational frequency. And they do that through a series of Queen of Swords actions, cutting out what does not serve them, cutting out what does not align with them, right? They pay attention, they're observant of it, but they also have that sword to say, okay, no thank you, thanks but no thanks for the offer. So through their romantic connections, through their friendships, through their work relationships, every single connection that they experience guides them to higher their frequency and get their frequency on the level of this counterpart that they have seen in the 5D, that they have felt, right? Because it's seen here, not here. So they feel it, it's intuitive. And then because they're on that frequency, the masculine in the 3D aligns with that frequency through their same process of elimination, of going through toxic partnerships, tower moments, right? Endings, beginnings, right? And going into hermit mode, being single, and doing that introspective shadow work, right? They do that work, and then through that work, they are drawn to the feminine. And then they recognize the feminine in the 3D, and it's very much like Big Fish, that movie Big Fish with Ewan McGregor, where he's in the circus, there's all this commotion around him, and then he sees her, right? He sees Sandra Templeton, he sees his divine counterpart, and he sees her in the 3D, and she doesn't see him in the 3D. So that can often work like that. Even though your masculine is around you, the feminine can still be very much like, where are you? I don't see you. And so if you are the feminine, this could be a cue to like tap back into your intuition so that you can see them, right? Because the more that you see them here, the more that you can keep them on the frequency, and not keep them on the frequency like ownership or possessiveness. I know you guys struggle with that. We fixed signs struggle with possessive tendencies, particularly Scorpio. But it's more that you can maintain that alignment of that frequency, that vibration. So yeah, if you're having sleepless nights, if you're having chaotic dreams and you're not able to see your person, maybe you felt them for a while and they faded out and now you can't feel them anymore, you can't see them anymore, you can't smell or sense them anymore, then there may be a need to work on your circadian rhythm, pay attention to what you're putting in your body, pay attention to how much you're on technology, how much you're listening to things around you, right? If you've somehow, for whatever reason, allowed toxic connections back in, maybe you tried to rekindle or reconnect with, because you felt like you were healed, maybe you tried to reconnect with a mother, and that was the same old story, because someone like this is very set in their ways. They are not coming out of that. And they're certainly not going to come out of it if you continue to give them your precious energy. Because why would they need to? Why does a narcissist need to come out of being a narcissist? They don't, because what they're doing works for them. The only time that doesn't work for them is when somebody goes no contact. And even in those situations, that is very rare. I would say it's not going to happen, right? But we'll give a little benefit of the doubt. Although, yeah, I think people who say that underestimate the power of doubt. Doubt is also intuition. But this is like if you're waiting on somebody, if you're waiting on to close that connection with the parent, Dr. Ramani is a therapist who talks about her focuses on narcissistic personality disorder and narcissistic connections, right? Narcissistic abuse, recovery, and maintenance if you decide that for whatever reason you need to be in that connection. So maybe there's something in her videos if you don't listen to her already. Dr. Ramani, Ramani. I think I said that right. ram, like Aries. Let her lead you. I think she's a Capricorn though. But the likelihood of them, changing their ways for their X supply is very unlikely. They'll just find new supply. It's easier to find new supply. And narcissists go for what is easier because they don't need it. Why would they challenge themselves? In their world, it's beneath them to be challenged, right? So yeah, there is some blockages here, and I feel like if you have rekindled or tried to rekindle something, better let sleeping dogs lie. Is that the phrase? Let me pull the rest of these, and then I do want to talk about that. When I guess I'm going to talk about it now. My reading situation, I've been selling everything to pack up, but I sold my table and everything. So now I'm on the floor and I have this board on a tote with a folding chair and my yoga blocks. Like, this is my setup. It's very like Cat in the Hattie, which I didn't put that together, but my DVD collection was sitting on top here, and Horton Hears a Who was what I noticed when I moved it off, because I'm basically playing like Tetris because I'm getting rid of all of my furniture. So it's like, this is my side table, it's my dinner table, it's kind of becoming everything. But yeah, Horton Hears a Who, which Cat in the Hat is also Dr. Seuss, but Horton Hears a Who, there's that thing about the mayor where he has 99 children and he gives them each a moment, and this is my favorite analogy or whatever to metaphorical analogy of how to meditate, right? And how to deal with all these thoughts. You treat them, because thoughts are like children, right? They're like playground children. Hey, mommy, daddy, they want your attention. They need attention. That doesn't mean you have to indulge them, but they need to be recognized, they need to be focused on for a moment and understood, and they need some sort of validation, right? So if you're in this hyper swords energy, lots of anxiety, bipolarity, maybe you're fixed energy, because fixed energies shadow disorder is bipolarity. Earth is bipolar disorder. So that's the extremes, right? Fixed energy is all in or all out, right? So it's like you could be very much like not sleeping because you're overthinking, you're heavy in your thoughts, and you're trying to figure out, how can I get this person to come into my life? How can I, what's wrong with me? And if you did bring this person into your life, they could be bringing a lot of those swords back into your world, right? A lot of those lies, the gaslighting, the false truths that they told you about yourself. You're this, you're that, you're not enough, you're too much. Those things could be coming in, especially just coming out of Mercury retrograde. Today's the 28th, so it's finally direct, but the Mercury retrograde could have dragged out a lot of, it doesn't just drag out past connections and mess up your technology, which we have the Five of Wands here, like blocked communication, but this can also be, competitive, interrupting, sort of magical words, right? Magic, wands, spells. Words are spells, swords are words, right? So this is all connected, where the words that you're speaking, the affirmations you're speaking, the thoughts that you're having, to hone those back in. And how you do that is you treat them like the mayor's children, right? Even though you seem to have 99, he has a good flow, and he knows what's going on with each one of his kids. And that's part of the shadow work. And you may be like, well, I've already done that, I should be fine. But if this is in your head right now, I don't know what Ashley Simpson is, and this is a very old reference. There's a song, Get Out of My Head. Out of my head. Want you out of my head. That was like a popular song for a second. A long time ago, I think. I don't know. I'm not going to track the years, but it's been a while. But yeah, and they were raised in stardom with the star, maybe an Aquarius. Maybe there's an Aquarius involved here, but like a false star, which is very much the devil energy, because the devil is Venus, which is the Hierophant. That's Taurus and Libra. You could be dealing with a Libra as well, but that's the love planet, right? That's love, baby. Venus. But Venus is also Lucifer, the star that was called Lucifer. And it sets when it falls, the sun rises, right? So the Son of God defeats the devil, defeats Lucifer, and sends him back to the underworld. And so, like, astrologically speaking, there is that spiritual warfare, that celestial warfare. So maybe checking what your Venus sign is. Your sun sign is, maybe it's not Scorpio. This is a Scorpio reading, but maybe you have Scorpio in a different placement. Maybe checking what your Plutonian aspect is, or what's in your Pluto. But yeah, something with and you could have these signs in you. Maybe you have, maybe you share a sign with a parent or a past partner, or maybe your divine counterpart is going to be the same sign as a past partner or a parent, right? And so there's this trigger, this kind of challenge of this lower vibration to raise up. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. There's a fool coming out here. Okay, I'm done. I am strong when I'm on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. So yeah, maybe your words of affirmation were messed up, right? I don't know what Michael Myers is. Not Halloween Michael Myers. But yeah, you could feel that way. Maybe you have a sibling that you're dealing with who's a lot like your parent. But yeah, something with family ties. Who's chasing you. Maybe they are a Libra, maybe you are a Halloween Scorpio, right? Something about Halloween, something about October, with this air energy here. You could be a cusper. But Jim Carrey, I was thinking Cat in the Hat for Michael Myers, because he plays the cat, and I don't know a single Scorpio that does not have a black cat, or a cat at least, but they seem to always have a black cat, which is not here. Which one of the queens is it? The Queen of Wands that has a black cat with her? I don't know. But in Heart Here's a Who, Jim Carrey is a Capricorn. So a lot of Capricorn energy, a lot of devil energy. There's something about that that's very triggering. Maybe check your Saturn. Maybe you reconnected, or somebody came back into your life during the Saturn retrograde, which was, 2 cycles ago, 2 months ago, just before the Mercury retrograde, which was Cancer, which is the moon energy. Could be dealing with the Cancer. We have the Knight of Cups here, and this is a lot of energy. But you guys attract a lot of energy because you guys are so esoteric. You guys just kind of do that. And Pluto's an enigma. Scorpios are kind of an enigma. You guys are fascinating. It's like, what are you? You seem fiery. You're a Scorpion on the desert, but you're a water sign. What? But Scorpions evolved from being large underwater crustaceans, so that's the prehistoric evolutionary path of Scorpio. But yeah, there's a lot of misunderstandings about the sign of Scorpio. And the planet. Is it a planet? Is it a moon? Is it a dwarf planet? What is it? Is it a little person planet? What are we calling it today? But it is a consistently orbiting planet. I'm going to call it a planet. I mean, Cancer's associated with the moon. We don't call that a planet, but yet it's the ruling celestial body of Cancer. And Leo's, the sun's not a planet, but yet we call, Leo is ruled by that as a celestial body, right? The star is not a planet, but Aquarius is ruled by the star, right? Or is associated with the star. It's not ruled by the star. Okay, so there's some little random thoughts. Hopefully something in there resonates. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups and then the Hierophant again. The Knight of Cups, see how armored up this person is? It's like they're peeking out. They're just peeking out of their face. Also, it kind of looks like they're in a Halloween costume, right? It's like they're dressed as a knight. So this could be like a false lover, right? There's somebody who's not, they're emotionally guarded. It also could be you as that crustacean coming out of the water, but you're still guarded about it. You're like, I'm gonna come out and see what's going on up here on Earth, on land. But yeah, I just get like someone partying like downtown, having their drink, walking around in their Halloween costume, kind of like towards the end of the night where the masks kind of come off. So it's like, but this person is still guarded, right? So this could be you. You still have that guarding of your heart. You are showing your face, but there's a little bit of armor still that you're relying on. Could be you or your person. Again, polarity, mirroring, twins. There's going to be a lot of that. So we're talking about the sun and the moon here. That's what the feminine does, is mirrors the sun's light, and that's what the celestial divine union is. It's when they are looking at each other, right? Which means that the earth is not in the way. The ego is not in the way. The 3D is not in the way. That's the 5D cosmic connection, is when those two are just facing each other. And it's so rare that they come together when the earth isn't even in between them, which is an eclipse, right? And so maybe something with the eclipse, I just heard something about how the eclipse changed the sun. Like it was a sun gazer's video or reel or something, and how they don't wear sunscreen. They've never worn sunscreen and they sun gaze, and then other people were commenting and they're like, well, I can't do that anymore since the eclipse. Like the sun is too intense right now. So maybe if you are astrologically savvy or astronomically savvy, you might know what that's about, right? It's on my long list of things that I'm like, oh, I'll look into that. and then I usually, watch Horton Hears a Who or something and just divine from that. All right. It is extra hot in here. I mean, I did close the window and, I haven't been doing, haven't had air conditioning on for all through summer. But it's not that hot. I think it was like 86, which is, since I've been adjusting my internal thermostat, 86 is kind of like fall weather now. 82 is winter. It's like, when it gets down to like 82, 81, it feels great, especially because I have the box fans going. And I just have this little one going, so a tabletop fan right now, because the box fan is too loud. So I mean, there are reasons why I could be physically hot, but I feel like there is, and I really started to sweat a lot in the Capricorn reading. So yeah, maybe something with the sun, the heat is on, maybe you're dealing with a Leo. It's also the heart chakra, so if your heart is guarded with this Five of Wands, that could be there could be a blockage in your heart chakra. Now you could, you know, it's all connected, so if you have a blockage in one of your chakras, your body's going to represent that, right? You might have heart palpitations, you might be feeling anxious. If you're not sleeping well, you're definitely going to be having issues there. So maybe taking looking into some supplements, right? Changing up your diet, making sure that you're consuming things like maybe cutting out caffeine or alcohol. Maybe those things are interrupting your blood flow and causing you to, and if you were triggered by a past connection, whether it be parental, familial, or romantic, right? And if this energy came in, yeah, it could have knocked your feminine energy into a more shadow aspect, to where you started to get reconnected or reattached. Not connected. Connected is a good word. You started to get reattached, or started to dredge up some attachments to soothe yourself, some substances, some behaviors. So the Hierophant with this Knight of Cups tells me that is tapping into the 5D and the 3D, right? Reconnecting and weaving those two together, balancing your masculine and feminine, and also creating new traditions, right? So the best way to change a habit is to replace something with another, right? So if you are trying to quit smoking, which is not good for your heart, if you're trying to eliminate meats, carcinogens, things that are going to affect your heart, be, high fat diets and things that raise your cholesterol, your maybe diabetes, right? The pre-diabetic, and those things are going to make you hot and sweaty if you're obese, right? All of these things that make your physical body represent what's going on in a heart blockage, right? Because we fill up that void with substance, with behaviors, with things that are very devilish. They're lower frequencies because they're easier than actually removing that armor and doing that shadow work to say, I'm coming out of my element. If you've been in hermit mode for a long time and you're trying to date again, maybe you had an experience with somebody, maybe it wasn't literally someone from your past, but it was energetically someone from your past, same cycle, same shit, different day kind of thing. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, gave it to Goodwill, burned it in a full moon ceremony, whatever. It's like, this is telling you to remove that armor. Because if you try to manifest from a place of fear, you're only going to attract more things that bring you fear. And this kind of looks like the Hermit as well. They're in this box. You've kind of created a balance, maybe a simulated balance. It's the movie Thanks for Sharing. It's about addiction recovery and, one day at a time, and staying that path with Mark Ruffalo, which is a cusper. And also Jamie Lee Curtis, he and Jamie Lee Curtis have the same birthday, Scarlett Johansson as well. They are Scorpio Sag, November 22nd, cuspers. Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. So yeah, maybe something with that. Maybe you're a cusper, maybe that's your birthday. Anyway. But Mark Ruffalo is, he's a sponsor now. Tim Robbins, Gwyneth Paltrow, I can never remember his name, but the guy who plays Olaf in Frozen, I haven't seen it, but I know that he plays the voice. He also plays in Love and Other Drugs, right? So it's like, maybe you have some mean, you are the sacral chakra, which is all our sexual energy. So maybe you have some sort of sexual attachment to somebody. I just felt for somebody who experienced a sexual fracture in their childhood. Yeah, my heart goes out to you with that. But if your self-worth was tied to sexuality and your ability to please others sexually, or to self-soothe sexually, then it's going to block your sacral chakra, and it's going to block your ability to create, because our creative energy and our sexual energy come from the same place, and it is our most powerful source of energy, right? So if you're trying to create from a place of fear, if you're wearing a mask, if you're guarding yourself, that's what you're going to attract more of. This very, this also reminds me of like Psycho, horror films. I mean, this is very much your energy as well, with Halloween and everything. So it is very much like, when they're hiding in the closet and it's like, the knife comes through there. But this is 10 knives, right? So we can get out of that cycle now, because 10 is the number of endings. That's also the tower, right? If you don't bring an ending to this, the tower, which you and Aries share as a major arcana, is going to come in and challenge you and force you to hold yourself accountable for your original manifestations, right? It's like we all boarded this ship, this cosmic celestial ship, to come to Earth and be these celestial bodies, these terrestrial bodies, and it's like we signed a contract, and this is the cruise that I'm going on. These are all the places I want to visit. These are all the tourist attractions I want to see. I want a divine union, sure. I want to be on my divine path and follow my divine calling. Sure, that sounds great. But then you get there and you're like hiking through a foreign jungle, and there's fucking King Kong mosquitoes coming at you, and it's like, why did I sign up for this? But you can't change your contract. Technically you can. If there are any thoughts of self-harm, I feel like a few of you are really struggling, and you need to reach out to somebody. You need to let people know that you need help. Maybe you need to find a group, contact a sponsor or a good friend, somebody that you trust. There are hotlines and stuff like that, plenty of them for those. And yeah, this is going to be a struggle, but you need to talk about this. You need to talk about whatever this fracture is, because it's your holdup. It's what's holding you back from this divine union. You don't want to come into it. You can't come into a divine union. You can come into a twin flame connection with fractures, but it will be tumultuous. It'll be a runner-chaser dynamic. The divine union can only happen when both parties have healed, independently balanced their masculine and feminine, when they have done the shadow work, when they have gotten into their magician energy, right? Which is also mercurial. It's the throat. It's speaking your truth. It's honesty. It's transparency. It's effective communication, setting boundaries, right? All of that. So if you need to work on setting boundaries with this entity, whatever skin shape or shift that they're in, this motherfucker could be a father as well. That was in their feminine energy, right? Someone who, this person is not balanced, whomever this is, and you know who this is. And maybe if you want to talk about it, again, if you don't feel like you can talk to anybody, sometimes it helps to talk to a stranger on a park bench or someone on a phone that you've never spoken to before, and that can kind of help you heal, because you're not totally exposed, because this isn't somebody you necessarily have to see every day or that even knows your name. It can be anonymous. You can call people and talk to them and be anonymous. You can create a fake account and comment on videos like this and get some other people who are like, wow, shit, I'm going through the same thing. And once you start to have a couple people, maybe just it only takes one, right? The divine union, it only takes one. So if you're trying to attract somebody, it's like, you know, like attracts like. If you start attracting a tribe of people, whether it be anonymous through like gaming, Discord, whatever. I mean, if you're going to be attached to social media, or you're going to be on your phone and using technology, you might as well use it to help you heal on this path, right? And to help you connect, right? And break those attachments. And maybe you just need to know that there's at least one other person out there going through something similar to you, so that you don't feel so estranged, so that you don't feel so isolated, so that you don't feel so alien, right? Because this person feels alien to me. They should be in the water, but it's like, oh, I'm pretending I'm on the earth. I'm pretending I know what the fuck I'm doing. We're all just pretending anyway. We're all just in the jungle with our little like hiking boots that we just bought because we saw it was like advertised, and you know, we don't really know what we're doing. We're just hacking through the jungle. Battery power is at 15%. I can actually plug this in. Oh, really? You're gonna be that way? All right, I'm gonna move you over just a little bit. Boom, shakalaka. All right. Whew, so that's a lot of heavy energy. A lot of heavy energy. But reach out, right? I know that sounds very simple, but it's your only option at this point. If that's the energy, if that energy resonated with you and you really felt that that heat wave up your spine, any kind of tingles, or if you're resonating with the physical sort of disruptions, yeah, it's like, it's survival at this point, right? You're hacking through your own jungle at this point, because we get sick and we die if we don't sleep properly, if we don't eat properly, if we don't hydrate, if we don't quiet our mind, right? These diseases will become a giant snowball effect, a positive feedback loop physiologically, which is not positive, and we will end up with disorders, diseases, things that will drive us to self-harm, whether that be through substance, behavioral patterns, or acutely, right? It's like we will become our own demise if we don't get a hold of those things, right? So this is life or death here, right? Which is your area of expertise as death. And death is the cycle of bringing things to an end, right? Death is not the finality. It's part of the cycle. It's part of needing to release things, needing to get out of toxic situations, because if you are in a toxic situation, you cannot heal. It's like, you can drink water, you can exercise, you can sleep 8 hours a day, you can have a routine, you can have friendships, but if you're like living next to a radioactive plant, you can only do so much, right? This is your radioactive plant. Whoever this is, I don't like this person. I don't like this entity. This is the devil. This is the demonic whisper in your ear that has kept you from feeling worthy and abundant, and it's a dark magic, right? Whether it's active or passive, this individual is still in your energy. This entity, I want to call them an entity because it feels very demonic, it feels possessive, it feels like a vampire or a vector. It's narcissistic, it's dark magic, because they're continuing to tell you lies. You're still telling yourself, I'm not worthy of being free and showing people who I really am. They won't love me if they see that I'm actually a sea serpent under here, right? And the snake is very misunderstood as well. And I have a Instagram account. I don't know if you want to follow me over there, same name, but there's a lot of random stuff on there. But in my stories, I I just shared something with a snake eating its tail, which is the Medusa, the Cadusa, the serpents, the snakes. I mean, you're often associated with the snake. The devil is associated with the snake. The Native American zodiac for Scorpio is the snake. But it's like breaking that cycle, and the snake, I don't know the wording, so you'll have to look over there. I'll butcher it. But it's essentially, breaking the cycle of who they told us to be. So this person told you to be somebody, they told you you were somebody, and so you're like, well, I guess I am. I guess I'm just a no good for nothing, this or that. Especially if this was a single parent, they may have compared you to an absent parent, and we have death here to clarify that. It's like there was abuse, neglect of your love language. There was, this is like crushing. This is the little child. They crushed your inner child. You're half and half. You're part your mom, you're part your dad. Whether they were around, whether they were healthy, doesn't matter. That's what that's what we know, that's what we're made of, and that's the duty, the responsibility of the cycle breaker is to transmute that energy, to transmute their shitty cycle. And their parents told them they were good for nothing in one way or another. They were neglected, they were abused. You can have empathy, but you don't need to have sympathy, right? Dr. Romani talks about, that's why I brought her up, is because she talks about not needing to forgive, which I completely agree with. There's all this stuff about, oh, you need to forgive your parents, and it's like, no, you don't. I don't think you do. You can love them unconditionally, but I think that the forgiveness aspect, and you see this a lot in movies, where it's like the toxic parent is forgiven and glorified, and they come to this big realization, and everything comes together, and the child is always the one, it's the adult child, but the adult child is always the one who forgives them. And then there's usually like a closing narration about, oh, I realized who my mom was, like White Oleander, Anywhere But Here, which White Oleander has, I'm ashamed, I can't remember her name, but she's this one who plays the young Sandra Templeton in Big Fish. Big Fish is another one. You have this kind of absentee father who's not really transparent or wholly truthful, and he's very entertaining and charismatic, like narcissists very much are. They're great in crowds. They're great with putting on a show and storytelling. But what stories are they telling? And at the end, it is beautiful. And Big Fish, for a long time, has been my favorite film. Lately, I've been sort of less infatuated with it, just because it tells that same storyline of like, oh, parents can treat their kids like this, they can be neglectful, they can be selfish, self-indulgent, manipulative, narcissistic, and then it's up to the child to say, as an adult, like, oh, that was just my parent. No. You can say, that was my parent, and that's not me, and I'm not gonna, there needs to be an ending of this cycle of communication with this person. The best way, and the only way oftentimes, to deal with a narcissist is to go no contact. If you are going silent to try and attract them, to try and get their attention, which you maybe did as a child, maybe you acted out, maybe you you did things for attention, like kids do, mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, right? They will do anything for attention, because attention means love. And looking into the cycle of narcissistic abuse, if you haven't already, if you're not familiar with it, and finding something that resonates there. And that may be the community that you're looking for, that's like, oh, I'm not alone. Other people have very much gone through this, right? When I first started to look into it and realize like some consistencies and inconsistencies with my love life, I looked to my childhood, And I was like, oh, I'm attracted to that runner chaser. I'm attracted to that manipulative, cold, withholding, emotionally unavailable, emotionally unregulated personality type, because that's what I know. That's what's familiar to me. And your divine counterpart is not going to be familiar to you, but they are going to be home, right? Your true home is not going to be, for cycle breakers, it's not going to feel anything like the home that you knew or know, right? We have the world, it's that whole new world. It's the maybe traveling, maybe moving away. This can be energetically or physically. You could be leaving this behind. The only way that you may be able to unconditionally love your parents or love your past is to get away from it. Is to say, you know, if I'm living next to this toxic pool of radioactive material, I'm never going to be able to heal. I'm never going to be able to find something healthy. I'm not going to see it. I'm in this green smog all the time. And you've done everything you can in that space to try and make it better and healthier, but you're still right in the fog and the smog. Smaug. Maybe you're a year of the dragon. Maybe you just like The Hobbit. But this kind of reminds me of that. There it is. Right? It's like you're going on this adventure. I'm going on an adventure. I'm going out to discover myself and like see what I'm really fucking made of, and see how powerful and strong I am. Other people think that I'm just this little, you know, little simple hobbit. Maybe you were called stupid or you know, a failure or whatever. Maybe you were just put into a box with a bunch of words and a bunch of lies, and you adopted them as your truth, right? The difference between the 8 and the 10 is a 2. So that's a decision. That's a decision to balance your thoughts and to release one, right? And anytime that you're trying to take on something new, you have to release the past. 8 is also, we have it here with the 8 of Wands. To clarify the 10 of Swords, 8 is the number of the cycle. It is that snake. It is breaking that cycle. Stop eating your own tail here, right? Oh, but I don't think I finished that statement, but when I first started to look into my past, I recognized the parallels, but I literally just Googled the symptoms or what someone had done, what someone had said, how I felt. There wasn't, this narcissist wasn't a hot topic at that time. So it was like, I just started to do that. I just started to type in, like, why do I feel blue at 3 p.m.? You know, I just like typed in as specific as possible what I was feeling, what I was thinking, what someone had said, what someone had done. And, you know, I saw forums where people were just talking about this. Yep, my husband did the same thing. Yep, my mom did the same thing. Yep, my dad said this to me. Yep, I feel the same way, the same time. Every day at 3, I also cry. You know, it's like, it was very much the same. It was like, I didn't know those people. I didn't communicate back and forth with them. But just seeing that I wasn't alone was very helpful. So I feel like that's important to somebody out there, that there's a need to educate the mind about what's going on with your feelings, because if your feelings are running the show here, right? If the moon, the feelings, the lack of clarity, the confusion, which the moon represents, if there's no light, if there's no illumination because you're in the fog, it's carrying you away. It's keeping you in this tower. It's keeping you trapped because you have no mind. Where is my mind? which was the Aries title reading, because I also had to record that one twice. Not because I forgot, but because the first one I was so discombobulated and I felt really intimidated, and so I felt like their person felt very intimidated. So yeah, you could be dealing with an Aries, could have Aries in your chart, could be an Aries parent, whatever, but that's also, you're connected with Aries through the tower. So it's all about this tower, right, of despair, of being trapped, right? The wicked stepmother, the wicked mother, queen, the wicked queen, you know, like entangled. It's like feeling tangled. They're trapped. For conditional love, she only traps her up there because she wants her hair. That rhymes. Sometimes. So if you are feeling like you are trapped in a tower, the Fool was popping out earlier. That's also Aries energy, Aquarius energy. That's jumping, that's taking a leap of faith out of this tower and into the star, right? Into the star, into the wish. You're granting your own wish. Now you might be scared because you're like, are these swords going to be down there? I feel like these are your imagination. Those swords don't actually exist. Exist. Those swords don't exist. Those are somebody else's words, right? Those are somebody else's thoughts. So they can't harm you. You're divinely protected. You might need to create a mantra. I am divinely protected. And then leap. Because if you don't leap, that tower's going to take you down with it. Right? That radioactive material is going to keep you like little Schrodinger's cat. You know the end of that story, one way or another. So before the little black cat in the box, in Schrodinger's box, has too much of that it meets their threshold of radioactive material and keels over, you need to open the box, free yourself, free your mind, and the rest will follow. That is such a beautiful line. It's like the best lyric for self-development. Free your mind. All right, this is creating new cycles here, right? Create a new cycle. Use your wand's energy. Maybe you have fire in your chart, right? Use this wand's energy. If you have a fire parent, guess what? They gave you these tools. That's the magician. The magician has access to all of the celestial bodies, to all of the elements, to all of the modalities, to the masculine, the feminine, and they wield those powers, right? Stop using them to block yourself. Here, this is like competition. This is competition. This is my leg's falling asleep. This is an inner battle. This is like, look, why are they like dick measuring here? You know, it's like sword fighting, but you know, like sword fighting. You never cross the streams, right? What is that from? You never cross the streams. Yeah, maybe there was like sibling rivalry or something like that. I just knocked one over. Ace of Pentacles. So we have this Page of Pentacles. Slow and steady wins the race. If you do resonate with the beginning where we talked about rushing somebody or feeling rushed. If you feel rushed by somebody, that is not your person. If you are rushing somebody, that is also not your person, right? And even if they are your twin flame, the whole Hollywood twin flame thing, they could be a karmic, which feels and looks a hell of a lot like your actual twin flame, right? So all divine unions are twin flames, but not all twin flames reach divine union, right? Twin flame is the 5D. They don't always come together in the 3D because not everybody's willing to wait, to be patient for what they actually manifested, their original manifestation on the original manifesto when they got on the boat. when they got on that, the sailing ships. See, we have this like mermaid. This is you, baby. You're actually a mermaid underneath all this bullshit, right? Just kind of got like the fire spinning. There's this Piscean energy up here. We also have Leo and Capricorn. The devil, the lion, that inner battle of releasing the devil. And when you release the devil, just like when you release a parent, when you release a loved one, right? If you love it, let it go. When you release it, when you free it, that's the only way that it can be unconditional. If you're waiting on a particular individual, if you are doing the silent treatment, if you're trying to attract from a place of fear, that's all conditional. That's all manipulative, right? The magician can become manipulative if they're trying to wield the elements of somebody else, right? So this is only doing the work on yourself. Balancing your divine and your demonic, right? Your light and your shadow. We have the devil and God both live within us as us. We are both of those entities. We are both of those energies, those frequencies simultaneously. And that's what this whole Meshuggah is. Maybe you're Jewish. Mishigas, is that how you say it? Meshuggahs. I like Meshuggahs because it sounds like sugar. Barbara Streisand, also at Taurus. So we have this, there's again, the Six of Pentacles, right? So that, I was thinking again because of the Three of Pentacles that I saw earlier, but this is the Six of Pentacles. This is coming together in a balanced way. This is two individuals. This is joining of tribes, right? Joining of divine callings, your purpose in life, right? This is coming together, but this is the 6 is the number of love, right? 3 is like friendships. This is love. So you're going to be best friends. You're going to be mirroring each other. And so you have to be in a place of self-love. Love is not conditional. Fear is conditional. So if you're manifesting from a place of fear, you're going to attract more fear. You're going to attract more conditional outcomes. If you want to attract something that's unconditional, then you need to be in an unconditional place yourself, right? And the best way to do that is to just find out that you're not alone. Find out that you're not the only one. Stop alienating yourself. And then we have justice here. That's karmic justice. Yeah, so I feel like you have just been dealing with cycle after cycle of karmic twins. They look a lot like it. Maybe a Pisces, right? We got a couple Pisces symbols here. Also with this kind of, maybe you had a Pisces parent and they were in their masculine, Pisces mother and they were in their masculine energy, because mutable energy is swords and water. And so if they were not in their feminine aspect of water to relate to you as a water sign, and they were heavy in their swords, up in their mind, no emotion, very guarded. And this is also kind of like the hanged man, right? So this person could have just been in their, very much in their hyper masculine, but their toxic masculinity, either way. But this is, see, this is that 2 of Swords that's going to bring you out of the 10 of Swords, out of the 8 of Swords. The way that you clear all that shit up is to come into balance. And anytime that you come into balance, it's choosing yourself. So you have to release something else, right? Release the external, which is, see, we have this Knight of Cups, Knight of Wands. So wielding your own wands, right? They have basically an Ace of Cups and an Ace of Wands that they are fighting for. You're fighting for your feminine and your masculine, your water and your fire, right? Which is Cancerian energy as well, with cardinal water. and then mutable fire is Sagittarius, right? So again, maybe you are a cusper and you relate to that Sagittarian energy, but this is very much like, see, this flea is like a parasite. It's a little fucking parasite, and you're transmuting that energy, right? You're transmuting what you were given. If you were raised by wands, if you were raised by swords, instead of letting it bring you into this cycle, this masculine energy of wands, fire, and swords, air, you're wielding it. Wield it. Use your chart. Use your magician energy to transmute and open up to the fifth element, right? Filling your own cup. And once you do that, this is the unconditional self-love. See how the cup runneth over? It's pouring back into the sea, right? You're pouring back into your water element. You're really tapping into that. So make sure that you're hydrating, you're changing your water filters. All right, maybe with the heat, with the water and the wands, maybe doing some teas, warming up some teas and soothing your throat chakra, soothing your mercurial energy. That's going to soothe your truth. That's going to soothe your, also with justice next to the Hierophant, that's your Venetian energy. That's going to be very soothing. Indulge yourself in a way that is holistic, in a way that is healing, in a way that's going to balance you to be able to have these conversations with yourself and with others. Because if you have to disclose who you are or how you want to be loved, if it feels like a confession to tell somebody what you need, then you still need to heal that. There's still some healing. So we have Scorpio, we have Libra, we have Taurus. Yeah. And then all the other signs that I mentioned. But as a magician, you have them all at your disposal. We have the Five of Wands. Again, somebody's blocked here, or somebody needs to be blocked. And then we have the Nine of Cups. There it is. Da, 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 da. This is the wish fulfillment. This is the wish fulfillment, but this person is fixed. You're coming into your fixed, your earth and your water. You are filling those cups by staying disciplined. Discipline leads to discernment, so you are able to understand who to let in and who not to, and what to give your energy to. And this is independent. Nine is an independent, self-satisfying, self-fulfilling energy. So I like this as the end, because that was a lot of tumultuous energy. So yeah, I feel like you may want to watch the reading that I did for why you should be single for a year before coming into union. Something in there might resonate with you, but because yeah, if you're trying to outsource your worth from others, there's some work to be done, right? Don't that's a low vibration to give your power, to give your self-worth to somebody else to determine that you should be loved or not. That's yeah, that's not a happy place to be. So that was a lot. That was heavy. I hope that there was something in here for you, and we will be back to check in and see what's going on. But yeah, the divine union, like the divine path, like all things divine, starts with self. Okay? So I wish you well.